And we are now live.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is me, Kirk Master, with the Community Affairs Show on Ramadan FM 87.7. This year I have a new co-host. I'll let him introduce himself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Ibrahim Kasuji from Highfield, Leicester. It's an honor for Kirk to host me. And yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody.
It's been a year. So glad to be back here this year. It's been an interesting year for a number of different reasons. So we, as usual, do community affairs, current affairs, and we'll be talking about things that are impacting the community. Good, bad, and indifferent, I guess. But remembering the month of Ramadan is really important for us. You know, I'd like to start being first time on the show this month in regards to our beloved Hazrat, Maulana Adam Sahib, who passed away last week. I think that was a touching event for the whole community. I had the pleasure of meeting him and talking with him on a number of occasions, and I think he was a great inspiration for the community. I actually remember meeting you on one of the days at the house. Is that right?
I think it was it was
one of the
few
days
days before he passed away.
A few days before he passed away. And
We were the only few there, I
a
think.
true inspiration for the community, and may Allah accept all his efforts.
I mean.
And have sabr for his family and all of those that have been in and around him for nearly 50 years, half a century. This man is dedicated to Leicester and the Deen. It's a great sacrifice.
Wow, alhamdulillah. Not just here as well, but in India.
Yeah.
And then he went to Malawi. In Malawi, he was with my father.
Okay.
Right? So he was staying with my father's house.
Wow.
This is something that the public don't know. So Maulana Adam started his journey in Deoband in India.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he made the madrasas there. He made a kutum there. He made a program there. And then he left from there went to Malawi. He did the same thing in Malawi, left the legacy there, opened a program, a masjid and stuff, did what he had to do. And then he migrated to England. And then he did the same thing here for the last 50 years.
A great legacy. MashaAllah. May Allah have mercy on him.
But the thing that we've got to understand here, that everywhere, his purpose is just one. From India, what he did there, he did that in Africa, and he did the same thing in the UK. His purpose was one.
And he's left a great legacy here in the city. His sons are here, his children are here, his family are here. He's left a great Islamic footprint. As I said, I had the pleasure of being around him on a number of occasions, and he did it. He impacted everybody. Yeah. He couldn't speak very good English, but he still left that.
This is one for the community. So my dad was telling me, right, that when Maulana Adam came, the Hazrat came to Leicester, my father's nikah was done by him. Okay. So my dad, being my dad, was wearing a tie.
Okay.
So Maulana Adam said, "Listen, I'll do your nikah.
Take the tie.
Take the tie." Alhamdulillah.
I bet he went to the shop to buy that as well, especially for the day.
Yeah, obviously. So my dad took the tie off, put it in his pocket, and then Maulana proceeded with the nikah. Alhamdulillah.
Well, I just wanted to start our show with that. Being community affairs, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that's impacted this community in a long time.
We've lost a great soul.
Let's hope we can unite behind his legacy and produce the good that he intended from it.
We've lost a great pioneer of Leicester. Honestly, we have globally, we've lost a great pioneer, and it's a big loss for us, definitely, spiritually as well.
But Leicester has a big footprint nationally in terms of being a place where families want to come and settle because they feel safe.
Yeah,
being able to practice their deen.
Yeah,
there's a lot that come,
especially in Leicester,
especially here in Leicester. The city. They come from other parts of the country, but also internationally as well.
Yeah. From
France and blah blah blah.
Because of the Darul room, because we have Darul rooms here.
Yeah.
Because like Maulana Hazrat Adam, who passed away, alhamdulillah, he's got Darul room set. Maulana Imran, his son.
Yeah.
So there's scholars,
all different
from that area, and then Maulana Salim Dorat Sheikh, he's got his idea over there, and they're branching out with so much Darul rooms. So people hear that from around the world, and they want their kids and sons to come into England and get the best Islamic education, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
true. Well, just on that, because something that happened this week, which was, I think, a shock to many, was this new Michael Gove's extremism report that labelled some organisations as extreme organisations.
Well, I'm not aware of that, you know.
And that's, had a big effect on the mindset of people and the way that they perceive the community, the Muslim community, the way our religion is, etc., etc. There seems to be this narrative that's attacking the Muslim community from all over the place at the moment. Do you get a sense of that? Do you feel that?
But do you know what, boss? I agree with you, but I agree with you. This happened about 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, it's been ongoing.
Yes.
It's been ongoing.
It's been happening. Yeah. Look, we're limited to what we can say, but it's been happening for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, these narratives they've been putting out has affected our way of thinking, our spiritual way enhancement, our ways of doing things, teachings in our masjids. And I've seen it with my own two eyes.
It's not good.
And I've heard it with my own two ears. And it's still happening now.
How do you think from, you're a grassroots person, you've got organisations, you've worked with youth groups, you've created football teams so you can bring people together. How would you say that one of a way that we can address or reverse this extremism label that we're getting as a community? Because you've done things right across the city. You're not just had it fixed in one place.
You know what it is, there's just no reality left. People ain't real no more. And that's the truth. That's the raw truth in this booth. That there is no reality, there's no realness left inside of people. And people are trading their soul for other purposes, for riches or for name and fame or for power. And unfortunately, our people in higher places have shown us that, have displayed that to us. And that's why we're going down as a community. We're failing. You know, we can't put narratives out. We can't face the community. We can't face the current issues. Like we were having this discussion earlier, we're not ready for it, boss.
There's no challenge.
There's no challenge.
There's no challenge. We can make noise. And I've always said this. I've always tried to advocate this. Until we organise and mobilise properly as a community, nobody will take us seriously.
Nobody will.
What we do, we're good at making noise for a moment in time, but then
for that
we just
moment,
disappear.
and then it's gone.
But you need to be more strategic about these
There has to be
things.
strategic plans in place. There has to be people in power. We have to have our people in power, who got the right intentions, who want to do the right things. We've got people in power who've got wrong intentions. And listen, power is an addiction. When you have power, look, let's be open, boss. Look, a lot of big people who are in power in parliament and presidents, they use that for abomination. Countries and innocent women and kids are dying. Countries are being bombed. But for what? For power.
Yeah, I was gonna come on to to kind of second point. Really, we have to kind of mention Palestine. You cannot not mention Palestine.
Of course, that's raw truth.
And I think through my own personal journey as well, when I started to become more vocal and advocate on behalf of Palestine, I started to see other things turn off. People turn off. Places turn off. Opportunities turn off. And it was a stark reality as it started to happen. And I wasn't naive to the fact that if you start to shout loud in one space, sometimes people shut doors in others. That's the reality of life. Mm-hmm. But it was disappointing. I mean, I tweet a lot, I talk a lot, I go to a lot of places and talk about Palestine as well. And I just try and always bring it back to humanity. Anybody that can look and see women and children being murdered in the way that they are, and it not affect you.
There's no humanity.
I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. You don't even have to be religious.
This is what you've seen and what you've just told me. I know that, and I've seen that. You can't talk about certain things anymore because people are scared, boss. People are scared. I'll lose my job, boss. I lose my position. They're going to look at me like this now because I'm with Palestine.
Yeah.
This is what it is. People are scared.
Yeah.
And that's the raw truth.
Yeah, well, they labelled a local organisation as one of these extreme groups who's been doing work for decades around Palestine.
Like aid work.
All kinds of
All
work
kinds of work.
related to Palestine. And it just shows that sometimes the more you push, the harder the pushback's going to come.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, Allah make it easy for all of those brothers and sisters in Palestine. Allah only knows the severity of what they're going through. We can't even imagine.
We can't even imagine.
We can't
We can't even empathise with nothing.
We can't imagine. And I tell you a story about that, the Palestine stuff, and why at a certain point, and when was it? Probably you're talking about 2024 now. So maybe 2018, 2019 was when I started to get a bit more agitated by what I was seeing and the lack of impact around that space. And I watched this video of a young girl. And in the video, basically what she was saying was, we have no voice. Nobody listens to us. Nobody represents us. We have no voice. Who is going to tell our story? Who is going to tell our story? And that line just kept repeating and repeating and repeating on me. And I watched the video and I watched the video and I watched it over and over. And I actually then said to myself, I have a voice. I actually have a platform where I can use my voice. And then that's when it started. And that's when I started to become a lot more vocal and share things publicly and so on and so on. And that's when things start to get
A bit. The pushback came to you, didn't you? Difficult. In what sense, boss?
Everything.
Listen,
work-wise,
because the community knows this.
Work-wise, socially, personally, on a number of... I mean, people that I'd associate as friends. I'm not even talking about Muslim friends. Forget those at the minute. But I'm talking about just friends. All of a sudden, are disappearing. Like, oh, Kirk, you're a bit harsh on this, and, you know, you need to be a bit careful what you say about this. And, and I was like, sorry, I can't do that. It's not my nature, and it's not right. And you know, anybody that knows me, I'll always tell you the truth. Whether you like it or not, I will tell you the truth. And sometimes that's got me in a lot of trouble because, you know, especially in the places that I've worked and been, you're supposed to, you're taught to be able to turn things down, not say what you need to say. Just follow the script. Follow the script.
That's the problem.
Don't have your opinion.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Follow the script.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Unfortunately, that's not me.
That's not me neither.
And it made me feel uncomfortable. But that's a personal story and a personal journey. But, you know, all the effort that's going on here in Leicester and nationally and internationally around Palestine, you know, I can only say Jazakallah, thank you to all the brothers and sisters that are doing anything to support their plight, because it is horrific. It is absolutely horrific. Some of the videos that people send me, some, you know, people that are over in Palestine and some are doing work there, and honestly, I can't watch them anymore.
I can't watch them.
It's
either.
that bad.
That bad.
Honestly, Kasu, I cannot watch them anymore.
Honestly, bro, I can't do it because I feel hopeless and helpless sitting here. Do you know what I mean? I feel hopeless and helpless sitting here watching them videos. I just can't do them. I've not watched the video for ages. Yeah. I can't see it. I know that girl you're talking about. I've seen that video.
You've seen the video.
I've seen that video. And I've got another girl as well, who's the bravest girl in the world. She's the bravest girl ever in the world. The things she's saying is so amazing. The things she's saying makes your heart rip open and makes you cry. The things she was saying is, she was saying, Alhamdulillah for everything. We have Allah. We have Allah. We have nothing but we have Allah. Our houses are gone. She's only 6 years old, man. She was saying this. My mother's gone. My father's gone. Alhamdulillah. Allah's taken them. Our houses are gone, but we here. Alhamdulillah. We have Iman. This is what the 6-year-old girl is saying. We have Iman. We have nothing. We have no food, no water, but we have Iman of Allah. We say Allahu Akbar and Allah pleases us.
They may be a lesson for us.
They are. This is a lesson for us.
They may possibly be our lesson towards getting stronger and more committed to the deen, because their deen is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. They're losing their moms and dads, and they're saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, thank you Allah.
So how do we get these youngsters, more young people involved in these kind of conversations? Not necessarily around Palestine, but representing our voices.
Our masjids first needs to talk about these things. Yeah. Because we can't talk about these in churches. We can't talk about it in synagogues, right? So we've got to open our masjids. Muslim mothers and brothers and sisters are being killed. Our masjids should be talking about these issues. They should be highlighting it because we are Muslims. We go to the mosque and the mosque should be doing bayans and they're making du'as about this, making us aware of the situation, spiritually giving us enhancement by looking at this. We should be enhancing our spiritual level, our iman. We should be focusing on towards Allah. We should be fearing Allah at this point in time, that Allah is not abominating this isn't happening to us, right? What if this starts happening tomorrow to us in this country? We're not ready for that. Do you think we'll be saying Alhamdulillah?
We'd be running into the sea, boss. Running into the sea.
Man's like you said, people are disappeared. They'll be gone.
So back to my question, not around Palestine or hot topics or whatever else, but engaging more young people from our community. We have some unbelievable talent in our community. How would you suggest we get them involved in a range of different things?
We need to. I personally think we need to have project managements and get these kids into certain projects. It could be like football. It could be sport projects. It could be awareness projects. It could be just topics, reality topics, example, street crime, all that kind of stuff. We need to get them all together and get them on a day where we can talk to them. As adults, people like me can talk to them and tell them my experience, what I've been through, so they can stay away from certain things.
There was another incident the other day, just up the road from here. Big groups again of Muslim youth fighting each other. Reportedly, knives were involved, people being stabbed. This is Ramzan. We're 5 days in, 4 days in, 5 days in, and we've got our youths, fighting each other in our areas where our community is fasting. 2024.
That's horrific. And it's sad.
But it's not new, is it?
It's not new. It's been happening for a while. And that's why we need to have these like Saturday open days or field days. We have events in Spinell Park or Victoria Park, Abbey Park, so these youths get engaged. And we talk about gangs, talk about gangster life, talk about prison, because that's what they need to know. Talk about the effects of what's going to happen to their mothers. When you go jail, what happens to your mom? Kids need to understand that what they do, and their action has a reaction. Like, for example, boss, if I was to do something wrong now, I may think it's okay. But for my dad and mom, it's the reaction for them. It's not okay. There's besharam, there's haya, modesty, my mom and dad's name, image. As parents, it's not good, is it?
It's not good.
So in that manner, there's a reaction. People are suffering in the background, and kids need to understand that what they're doing is potentially putting their parents in an emotional stress or panic or distress or alarm, whatever.
Our community's been through a tough period. On the COVID, we had the longest lockdown, and it affected our communities massively here in Leicester. We've had what's labelled as the Hindutva riots here in the city. We've lost, some say, up to 30,000 jobs through the textile industry.
That got completely shut down.
Our youths are kind of, not all, but there's large groups within our communities where our youths are just completely off track. There's been a lot going on. We're being labelled now as extremists as a community, and good organisations being branded and labelled as extremist groups.
Yeah,
we're in a tough place. We're in a tough place.
Listen, I was telling you earlier, boss. The world is a cruel place. The world is a cruel place, and I've seen it. It's a cruel place. People don't want to help. Everybody wants to disappear when the truth is spoken. When the truth comes out, everybody runs away. And with the youths at the minute, with the current affairs that's going on, we have to be there to guide them. You know, an ex-prisoner, ex-drug addict, ex-gangster, you know, who's been through that. They've got to come out. Where are you guys? We've all got to come out. We've got to help these youngers and tell them the footsteps that we did that they can't do, because there's a reaction for their action, you know. And
but there is some good work going on in the community. I mean, I could name a host of different organizations.
But are these kids coming to that? That's the thing. Are the kids coming to that good work? Is that good work attracting the kids? Do you get it?
There's a mix, because obviously there's two types of intervention when you work with young people. There's prevention, where you try and get in before things start to happen, and then there's a kind of intervention where things are happening and now you're trying to claw things back. Obviously, they always say prevention is better than cure, than cause, but I think the resources are very slim. You know, again, just to add in another big thing, a local authority is going bust. Going bust. All resources relating to youth services, community services, is gone.
It's gone.
It's disappearing.
Yeah.
You know, and left hand will say it's the right hand hand will say it's the left hand, and up will say it's down, and down will say it's down. They're just abbreviations, so I don't get in trouble with whose fault it is. But everybody knows that it is what it is. The reality is the community is suffering.
We are badly. We've been suffering for years.
You know, so employment, education, youth services, investment, local authority going bankrupt, textile industry going bust. Leicester's textile industry was the biggest in the UK.
Yeah.
30,000 plus jobs have gone. Gone. Not been replaced, gone. Riots, extremism labels, the issues globally with Palestine. We're in a tough place. We need these groups and leaders now. We need these groups and leaders to take stock of what's going on.
What if something kicks off tomorrow again? Like you know, you mentioned the Hindutva group came and it kicked off.
Yeah.
And it all went out of hand. What if that happens again? Are we ready for that as a community? I mean, not to fight back.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about fighting here. I'm talking about politically. Are we ready? Do you get it? Are we ready to challenge? Because we as a community failed.
It's a good question.
We failed in the Hindutva thing.
Yeah.
We failed. Unfortunately, good people went prison. Good people that never had a parking ticket being charged with riots and launching missiles, right? Stuff like that.
And they would say for standing up for their community.
And they were just standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Standing for the community. There's been people that have been wrongly accused and evicted because they were just standing there. You know, there was a lot of things that happened in this Hindutva thing that, you know, there was a lot of misjudgment and
I think there was a complete lack of understanding
out of guidelines sort of stuff
from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So whether you say local authority, whether you say police, whether you say or lead community organisations, right down to those that were out and protesting. I think those are huge.
Despite the police failing, I'm going to be raw truth. Despite the police failing, and I think they failed. They dramatically. It was a dramatic. Like they dramatically, let me think about what I'm saying. They dramatically, unprofessionally, put this whole cases together in very quickly and very abruptly, and they went outside the guidelines and gave excessive charges and punishments. You know, special judges were assigned to these cases. You know, it was all sort of, you know, kind of made up, you know, that this is what's going to happen.
Who represented us as a community?
That's what I'm saying.
Is that the question?
So the question is that if this happens tomorrow, are we still going to, our brothers and sisters are going to go to jail and we're just going to stand and do nothing again? Because we failed as a community. The police failed. Well, in their eyes, they won because they've got results. But, you know, as community, we didn't do nothing. We let our people rot in jail. We let our people suffer.
There's
for standing for the community.
Yeah, just on the actual issue, the Hindu and Muslim community have lived side by side for decades.
Listen, boss, we play
Decades.
football. Come on, you played football with Hindus.
Yeah, we
listen,
have-
we
we
have,
both have very
come on,
good
I've got
friends.
Hindu, I've got, listen, a lot of Hindu friends.
Yeah,
They're probably listening to me now. I love them.
yeah.
They're my friends. Yeah, I could shout out bacon now. You know what I mean?
But what happened?
Ritesh,
What do you think was the reason for the escalation?
I think it's not the Hindu people. It's the minority that have fallen off, got their own group, started doing all this. You know, the RSS group and stuff.
But that's another thing that kind of comes out of this. But there's not that. The majority of people that I've spoke to won't associate themselves to these kind of labels. In the same way that we don't, as communities, want to be associated to extremism labels.
No, not at all.
They don't want that. But I think there was just a complete breakdown of structure within the city, where different communities were.
I think the problem is, boss, is
not assimilating very well.
Not a problem is not in a bad way, boss. But no matter what you do, you criticized now. Like you just said, no matter what you do, you're just going to be criticized for it. Right? Because you're speaking the truth. Like just 10 minutes ago, you were telling me you were speaking the truth and friends were disappearing, people at work were being different. You can see that people are acting a bit different towards you now because you're speaking the truth about something. And sometimes people don't want that. Like you said, people want you to just turn it down, go with the flow kind of thing. But your heart can't do that. You're a realist. You're a truth person. And the truth needs to be spoken. And when you speak the truth, this is what happens. So, I mean, we just need everyone to be on the same page and speak the truth. If you all speak the truth, the truth is the truth. Everyone's hiding behind this and everyone wants to just run away.
Our community has some amazing assets to it. So as an example, the Islamic infrastructure that's here in Leicester
is the best.
Is attractive to everywhere. As we were talking about earlier on. So that's there. We have some amazing charities across the city that do unbelievable work relating to generating money and activities and offering their services and volunteers and so on and so on. We have some great grassroots organizations doing mental health, doing drugs, doing sports activities, doing everything. So what's missing? Where are we going wrong? Because there is amazing stuff. There are amazing people. But it's just like it's not. You understand what I mean? It's just not connecting.
Not connecting.
It's not connecting. And people are falling through these gaps.
A lot of things.
And it can't be anyone's sole responsibility to save you or save the community but we've got to do a bit better than this.
You know what, boss? I'm a realist. I told the truth. I think it falls down to a lot of people and a lot of organizations that have come up in the last 5 to 10 years are all there for name and fame. And that's the truth. They don't care about the community.
Not all.
No, I'm not. Listen,
not all.
I'm not saying all.
Yeah, some.
I'm saying
maybe.
I'm saying at least 50% of them don't care.
Okay.
I've got my title. I am where I am. I need to be where I'm being. I'm getting good money. Right. If I start saying these kind of things and start going towards them kind of things, these are going to take my job away. I'm not area manager no more. I'll be be-leveled. People think like this. And the other thing is a lot of people, like I said, are on a power trip. My company has to be there. My label has to be there. It's got to be from us. Everybody wants name and fame. The intention has changed, boss. Allah gives you name. Allah gives you respect. Allah takes respect. Allah gives you respect. You don't have respect. I don't have respect. The only reason we respect each other is Allah gives us respect. Tomorrow, people will spit at us, boss. It's because of Allah gives respect. But people today just want name and fame. So, and they want power. I've seen it with my own eyes. And that's why I'm here today to tell you that people just want power. And when they get that power, they get money. And when they get that money, it changes people's views and minds.
Yeah, power and money usually go
Do you get it?
hand in hand somewhere.
You know?
But, I've been
And then
around,
you're talking about controlling. You're controlling these people, controlling them. You know, you got power now.
I've been around the community for a long time now.
You know that, boss.
I've worked in
Come
this
on.
space for 3 decades. 10 years I've done local authority and charity work. I've done a stint in the civil service, and I've done 10 years politics, and now I'm doing my own thing, which alhamdulillah, I'm very fortunate I can, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy being able to offer those experiences and services all across the country and to international groups as well. I still have a passion for my own community. It still burns me to see some of the stuff that goes on.
Of course.
And I get what you're saying about power and et cetera, et cetera. But there are some really genuine good people and some good groups on the ground.
Allah reward them. Honestly.
There is, honestly, brother.
Those that are genuine.
I've seen them. I could give you a list of 20 right now off the top of my head, but I don't want to miss one and then think if I don't say one, somebody will think
you'll
they're,
get a phone call
they're
later.
the other one.
Boss, you missed me out.
Or they're not genuine.
Yeah.
But we are doing some great work. We really are.
them.
But how can we expand that to be better?
Everyone needs to
because
get
things
together.
are failing.
Okay, I think we need to get together. I think there's a lot of segregated groups are doing they've got the same awareness, the same focus, the same maqsad, the same purpose, but everyone's doing their own thing. If we all got together and did it together under one banner,
I told you about Hadith I was reading.
under
earlier
one
on.
banner, boss, I think we'll have I think we have a better movement. We'll have a better power, because that's the problem. It's like ABC are doing this, and then CBD are doing that, but it's the same maqsad. They all want to get to. Let's run an example here. We need to get aid in Palestine, right? So ABC are doing that, and CB doing that, but it's the same purpose.
Same objective.
But these lot are hating these lot because they're doing it more, and these lot doing it there. Do you know what I mean? There's friction between them now. If they got together, imagine the power that we can have together.
Yeah.
Right. Forget your company and my company. The maqsad is one. The purpose is to send money there and
So
help.
we need to find
And
a collective purpose.
we have to be collective because the purpose is one.
And what would you say the biggest purpose or need is in our community?
To get everyone together and listen. To my community, Allah is aware of us. Yeah. If we have power and we have control, then please let's use that in a manner where Allah is pleased with us. That's what I'm saying. You get it? Let's use it in a manner where on the day of judgment, when Allah questions us about the power, Allah will be proud of us and say, you used that power for me and you influenced everyone for me. And that's what we want.
What challenges? Education, poverty, facilities, crime, youth services. What do you think we should be prioritizing as a community as we move forward?
All of them. Even in our education,
it's a big
because
area.
In the education department, at the curriculum, they're teaching kids that's against the Sharia of Muslim Islam.
Yeah.
Literally, that's raw in the booth again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to, in education department, we need to that needs to be addressed and looked at.
Yeah.
Maybe counter some of the things that the education department are saying, or I'm not saying, educating our kids is completely against Islam. It's completely against Islam, boss. So there has to be a counter reaction to that. We have to have an organization saying, yeah, the schools are teaching you that, but our religion says this. That's a biggest issue right now because it's influencing our Muslim kids.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's in
social media. You talk about influence.
Big influence,
It's on my list
Oh,
here.
God,
I'm going to jump to it because you just said that.
Don't even start.
Social media.
Listen, TikTok means TikTok. It's a tick, like a clock. TikTok.
It's taking your time.
Listen, false time, take you away. That's why they call it TikTok. It's all made to take your awareness away from reality into something digitally, which is not, which is...
It's a false reality.
False reality.
False reality.
False perception.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the social media platforms, yes, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying that you can do good with them and promote good, but there's a lot of influence on social media that's bad. Yeah, and it's unstoppable because you know what?
It's everywhere.
Because everyone's got a phone.
Yeah.
And the problem with phones now is everything's accessible on it. If you think about, like, look, let's talk about pornography, for example. 20 years ago, you couldn't get pornography. It was hard to get you know, it was difficult. Like, now it's easy accessible.
Everything's accessible.
Like kids.
I have one social media feed, which is Twitter. And you say it's good and you say it's bad. So you can share stuff on there, you can advocate, you can put things out there and whatever. But it's also bad because, just as an example, in the past 2 years, past a bit more than that, maybe 3-4 years, I get trolled on social media by Hindutva groups and other far right groups as well.
For what? For
messages.
your tweets?
For messages
What are you
that
tweeting,
you
though?
put out,
Are
or
you
things that you say. And if you're not strong mentally, and what you're finding with a lot of our young people, they don't know how to cope with these challenges. Mental health is a big issue with our young people.
Massive issue, yeah.
You know, because they don't know how to deal with certain realities of life, challenges of life. And again, going back to the project stuff, there are good projects out there doing mental health stuff. But we're not geared up to deal with these challenges. Other communities, I see what they're doing, the way they're strategizing, the way they're trying to coordinate collectively. Forget the strands. There's always going to be strands.
That's the key point. Collectively.
But they see education affecting all of them.
But you asked me a question, boss. Do you not see that happening in Leicester? We're not collective.
No, but I was telling, as I said, you know, just as we started, I was reading the hadith earlier, you know, to its nearest meaning from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We will have 73 different sects of Muslims. How are we ever going to unite? You know, can we unite? Is it even possible to unite? From your experience, you've been in this 20 years in the community. You ever managed it? You can ask me the same question.
People are drifted away, man, like the waves.
It's
People
difficult.
are drifted away.
It's very difficult.
People, yeah, like the waves, difficult.
You know, we spoke earlier about the incident just around the corner from here. It was over social media. Before I got home from mosque, from praying Tarawih, it was on my phone. When I got home, it was on my phone. Video footage of what was happening.
Everything's accessible.
It was there.
You can get anything now. This is one of the, that's why, like, going back to the point, because everything's accessible, kids now, 10 years old, have digital assets like these, where everything's accessible. You think about it, that's it. It's, you know, 1 out of 10 advertisers, it's pornography, or it's about investments, or it's about going, you know, it's so, this is why, and so on TikTok, Snapchat, all of this, it's on the phone. So it's hard to remove that because everyone's got a phone, you know. So I think it's down to the parents here, where they have to sit down with their children and say, look, there is a thin line in social media. There is good and bad in that, you know. And be careful, you know. They need to be aware, or we need to make people aware of social media influence. And like you said, if man ain't ready, you can get carried away. If you're putting something out there and then you're having an online conversation, debate, that could go on for hours, mate. That's why I don't get involved in online conversation, because everyone's got different answers and different mindsets. You're going to be sitting there answering 100,000 questions in different ways and formats. So no, I don't get on online conversations. I send a message out according to Sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so no one can mess about. Do you get me?
I've got a couple of questions here, so I'll just fire them off. One is, what is the best way for youngsters to be spending their time, especially after breaking fast, Maghrib, and around Tarawih time?
What, after Maghrib, you mean?
Just seems like evening, yeah.
Evening time. I would recommend that every youth should adopt the Tarawih prayer, because the Tarawih prayer after Maghrib will be iftar. After iftar, you only have an hour. That hour, about 45 minutes, an hour. You get ready, you go Isha, and then you spend Tarawih for the hour 20 minutes. After that, it will be 10 o'clock or 9:30. It's probably time to go home, have a cup of tea, go to bed, whatever. But that's something they can do. Tarawih is a big influence. You know, that's the 20 rakats that we
So
pray.
encouraging our youngsters to,
go mosque.
be inside the mosque is very important. So just even if you're walking past as somebody on their way and you see a youngster or group of youngsters, just encourage them to say, brothers, come to the mosque.
Yeah, come, you know.
Politely, nicely.
Always politely, never by force. Yeah. Never by force. And if the guy doesn't come today, you tell him, listen, brother.
Walk past him tomorrow.
I'm going to make dua for you. You're going to be in here tomorrow.
Inshallah.
Yeah. You know, listen, we have to use wisdom.
I've got another question. I've just lost it off the screen. Jazakallah for raising the awareness around some of our community issues.
Is this someone?
These are just texting on my phone.
Oh, people texting you?
Yeah.
People, random people?
Yeah.
Just that listen to the show?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah for raising the community issues. After Ramzan, how can we unite as community organisations? I've got an answer for this, actually, but go on. I'll let you go. No, go on, it's okay.
What was that question again, sorry?
How can we unite community organisations after Ramzan?
We should unite under one banner. I think we should all get together. Every organisation should get together, have a meeting, and unite under one banner, right? And everyone's input could be united under one banner. That's power for one purpose, one intention, one reason.
That's brilliant, because we're coming near to the end of the show, but one of the purposes of doing the community stuff was, as I says, I'm doing a bit of my own work now, and I run some legacy programs. So one of the things that I'm going to put together this year is an event here in Leicester for every Muslim grassroots organisation in the city to come into one space, to share their experience, to talk to each other, to share good, bad and indifferent of what they're dealing with. Even sometimes just connect in terms of, I didn't know you was doing that, but now you do. Yeah. So inshallah, the intention is to have one event this year.
And people mingle and talk.
For grassroots organisations here in Leicester, Muslim grassroots organisations here in Leicester, to come together, to share good practice, to share any practice, to share contact details, to share timetables, to share ideas around how to obtain grants, maybe to share resource. We'll put a whole agenda together. I'm going to put a team of volunteers. I'll put your name on the list now for volunteers and the person that asked that question.
Right, I'm lumbered.
Because I think that's a really good point, actually, that we do need to unite. We know the issues.
Put your differences aside, brothers. Like Kirk, we can have differences.
Yeah.
But when it comes to one purpose, we've got to put that aside. And sisters.
The sisters are doing some
amazing
work.
Sisters, I'm sorry. Listen, sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers.
I've got another quick message from LMA. You know LMA, the boxing group on Leicester Road. They're saying any youngsters that are roaming around and don't feel comfortable going to a mosque, get to LMA. There. They're doing Tarawih.
Where's LMA? Where's LMA?
Leicester Street, back of East Park Road, Imperial Building.
Oh, thingy, Arafat's. Yeah, Arafat, well done. And
Yasin in there for
Yasin in there, and Kano. Yeah. Right, listen, get the kids in there. That's a very good one, because they do all boxing and stuff in there, and they do Tarawih, they do pizzas and stuff. That's very good. And shout out to Yasin, Kano, and Arafat, who've been doing that for a while now. Yeah.
Well, we said we're not going to shout because there's another 40, 50, 80, 90 that you're gonna miss off. So, okay. Another question.
Shout out to everyone then who's doing good.
I just see that other question. I've missed it. We actually did forget to put the WhatsApp number on the screen or the studio line. But we'll do that for next week. We'll have a bit more structure. So we're going to focus as we go forward on education. I'm hopefully going to get a guest in of a senior person from within the city who's in an education space, and we'll talk about some of the other bits as we start to move.
There might be some people that want to ask questions. I mean, do you want to give the studio number out if somebody wants to text in or ring?
If you look at that timer,
it's
gone.
Oh, right.
I didn't even realize how quickly the time's gone. It's just literally gone. So we're literally on 30 seconds before we cut off. So I'd just like to say Jazakallah for everybody listening.
I'd like to say Jazakallah for everyone as well.
For you
and Jazakallah
coming
for
in
Kirk
to co-host this show.
It was an honour for me.
We'll structure next week. And the following weeks,
Inshallah.
we'll have a bit more
Yeah.
of an agenda to it. We
Yeah.
just wanted to open up
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, we opened it up.
we hope you have a great
Alhamdulillah.
Ramzan, everybody. Make dua for all of us
Yes,
here in the
inshallah.
community and all of our brothers and sisters across the world and here in Palestine as well. Jazak.